Hello, it's Mark Lanier with your video thought for the day. This week, I'm looking at things I would tell myself if I could go back in time. Yesterday, it was about prayer. Today, it's about how to face difficulties and obstacles and how to just in general walk in life. And here's the key. This last week, my wife and I got the absolute incredible privilege and honor of taking care of our 16-month-old grandson, John Henry. We have two grandsons. John Henry, for like 3 or 4 days. And it was amazing. I mean, you've got this little life that still wants to snuggle when he wakes up or when he's tired. And yet, when he's awake, he's got energy, he's all over the place, and he's starting to babble good words, and he likes certain things and foods, and just his personality comes out. And in the midst of it all, I found myself repeatedly thinking, Lord, I don't want to do anything except protect this child. The in a sense, the absolute trust he has in us to be there for him, to make sure he eats, to make sure he sleeps, to make sure he doesn't go up the stairs that he has trouble coming back down, to all of those things, to keep him away from water in the sense of the pool, to whatever it may be. I really wanted to do it right. And I thought, God sees us as his children. And God is very interested in what happens to us and wants to be there for us. Not so we can remain infants. He wants us to grow up and learn responsibility and learn how to function and learn how to trust and love him. And so if I had a video thought that I can tell you about where if I could climb in and go back in time, I would want to go confront myself in times of fear, in times of uncertainty, in times of worry, in times of craziness. And I would want to say that when Paul wrote Romans 8, he was very specific to make it really clear that all things work together for good for those who love the Lord and are called according to his good purpose. For those who love the Lord. Now, love is a funny word in English, because in English, I can talk about the love I have for my wife. I can also talk about my love for peanut butter and jelly sandwiches that are made right. Side note. Mix the peanut butter and jelly together in equal proportions and then put it on the bread. Don't put peanut butter on one side, jelly on the other. The jelly just leaks into the bread. You don't get the proportions right. It doesn't spread right. It's not the way to go. That's another side note. But I love a PB&J and I love my wife, but I feel quite differently about the two. That same word. But I feel differently. Well, in Greek, there are a number of different words for love. And Paul's talking here about an action love. He's talking about loving God, not in the sense of what I get out of it, how I can soak in and absorb and God makes me feel good. No, he's talking about a love that says, I'm committed to this relationship because of who God is and what I can do for him. I want to act on his behalf. I want to walk with him to his glory and to his praise. And Paul says, when we meet obstacles in this life, when there are problems in front of us, when you've got fears, when you've got doubts, when you don't know what to do, when there's a mountain too big for you to scale, when the valley is too deep for you to see, when the waters are rising up above your neck, whatever it may be, in money, in relationships, in school, in work, in business, in anything at all, we know that all things will work together for good for those who love the Lord. And the love that's talking there is for those who are doing right. So I would tell myself, hey, Mark, that scripture is true. And after 6 decades on earth, you'll be able to testify very plainly it's true. Everything that's an obstacle is ultimately gonna be okay. More than okay, it's gonna be good. because that's the God who loves you. He loves you the same way you love your grandson, and you want to nurture him and take care of him. And you can't close him off from the world, but you're going to teach him to grow up in the world. And that's what God's doing with us. And sometimes I have to take a nap when I don't want to. Or sometimes I have to eat the broccoli as well as the dessert. But God is all about doing this so that it all works out to the good. That's something I'd want to know. Now, there's more I'd like to tell myself if I could go back in time, but that's for tomorrow. I've already finished your video thought for today with, if you love God, walk with Him, it's going to work out.